I've played a lot of video games over the years. So I think I'm somewhat qualified to talk about them. We've had some fantastic video games over the years, with a few exceptions that have sneaked through the cracks. Despite how good we've had it, I think many of us can agree that the golden age of video games for us was probably sometime in our early childhood. I think we all wish we could go back in time and play one of our personal golden age video games all over again, as if we had just played it for the first time. The games I wish I could experience again would be those games with massive in-game communities. You know, games like Roblox or Mario Maker. Or even Minecraft. Gary's Mod. Newgrounds. Even Halo Reach's Forge mode. These games felt like worlds of almost infinite content to me during my childhood. These massive playgrounds where me and my friends could just do whatever we wanted and also experience what other people were doing as well. It was a really, really cool thing to me as a kid. I've spent hours upon hours of time in these games, creating tons of fun memories. What made these games so special to me is one simple thing that they all have in common. These games, in some way or another, are all powered by user-generated content. It was so cool to me as a kid to have the creators give me the power and tools to create whatever I wanted within the boundaries of my own creativity. This endless amount of content at my young fingertips to play, enjoy, and explore was so mind-blowing at the time. These games have allowed for some of the most interesting pieces of gaming media to spawn. It's such a genius idea to make a game timeless by letting your game continue to grow with your community. It's the love and effort these communities put back into these games that time and time again they continue to live on. Thousands of games are dropped all the time, forgotten by people like you and me. Yet somehow games like Roblox have been around for a super long time and are still growing in popularity. It just goes to show that these types of games are beloved by the people who play them. It just sucks that games like these don't last forever. Eventually, either the server shut down or the community dies. Hours upon hours of painstaking time, love, and dedication were spent into these games just to have them lost to time. These pieces of media gone forever. Hello for the first time. My name is PunchSoft, and today I will be discussing these worlds of user-generated content. Let's quickly discuss single-player games. If I were to ask you, what's the best single-player game you played in the past year or so, I think a good portion of you would probably pick a game like Baldur's Gate 3. And for good reason. It's a game with a well-crafted story written by a talented team of writers and a room full of experienced programmers. People that have worked day and night on overtime with a very close deadline. All these people working to give you a once-in-a-lifetime adventure that's meant to make you feel a wide variety of emotions and thoughts. And it shows. The gameplay is fun, engaging, and entertaining, with every piece just fitting together beautifully. It's a mastercraft of game design, and the awards it's won proves it without a shadow of a doubt. Now, on the other hand, let's say you hop on the internet and you boot up a game like Roblox, and you, my friend, have just entered the Wild West. It's just a never-ending desert of the exact same content. each trying to vie for your attention. You've got games like Blox Fruit, Anime Royale, Dragon Soul, Anime Last Stand, Anime Card Battle, Anime Defenders, One Fruit, etc. It just goes on and on. There's like a million anime battle royale games in Roblox. It's literally never ending. Then after hours upon hours of searching through the abyss, you see it. A beautiful, metaphorical oasis in the distance. Raise a Peter. Now, a quick excerpt from one of the greatest games of all time. It's an interesting game that does something completely new, and it keeps you entertained. Even if it isn't AAA quality, it's something different and it's something wholly unique, and that is the beauty of user-created content. Now, if we're being 100% real, if you were to ask me what I would prefer, in most cases, I would obviously say Baldur's Gate 3. It's a beautiful open-world game with branching paths, memorable characters, amazing gameplay, and a story that grips you. And sometimes it's pretty funny. Everything I could ask for in a game. But if I'm being even more real, Raise a Peter's way funnier, and that kind of makes it the better game. To get my point across, I think it's the chaos and creativity that players have on a game like Roblox that I just don't think can be beat. I mean, you're experiencing a game that some kid put together in their free time to entertain and impress you and others like them. That's just something you can't get really anywhere else. For better or worse. The hours I've spent with my buddies playing on a random Garry's Mod server, competing against each other in Mario Maker, wasting school hours playing on Newgrounds, or a minigame server on Roblox, I wouldn't trade those memories for 1,000 fantastic single-player experiences. And a lot of those games are completely free on websites that anybody can access, which is super cool. And one of those fantastic experiences was the hundreds of hours I spent on, in my opinion, one of the best user-generated content games of old, LittleBigPlanet. But before we continue, if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. This is just the first video, but I promise I'll have plenty more to come, so stay tuned. Okay, let's rewind a little bit and go back to the magical time of 2006. It was the year we got LEGO Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Persona 3.
Are you stupid or something? More like stupid.
Legend of Zelda, The Twilight Princess. And in the magical land of Guilford, Surrey, a small company called Media Molecule is founded. Media Molecule are the masterminds behind LittleBigPlanet. And it was founded by Mark Healy, Alex Evans, David Smith, and Kareem Edney. Before Media Molecule even came to be, one of its founders, Mark Healy, was working on a game prior called Ragdoll Kung Fu, whilst working under the company Lionhead Studios. Ragdoll Kung Fu is just a very weird, surreal fighting game. But, interestingly enough, it was Valve's first third-party published game on Steam. After Ragdoll Kung Fu, the four decided to leave Lionhead Studios, and in 2005, they formed Media Molecule. They had an amazing idea for their first game they wanted to release, and immediately got started working on a prototype. And that game's name would be called Craftworld. Craftworld was the early prototype and dream that would eventually become LittleBigPlanet. And you can see from the footage the idea of what LittleBigPlanet would eventually become. Once a prototype demo was ready, Media Molecule presented the idea to Sony in a press conference, and while the pitch was a bit rough, Sony liked the concept so much they gave them the funding, and the rest was history. In 2008, LittleBigPlanet hit the shelves. I remember getting this game for Christmas in the year 2009. I was super excited to try out this new and exciting game. I popped the disc into my PlayStation 3, opened the game, and like that, I was hit with one of the most mystical game intros ever created. It's honestly such a powerful emotional opening that opened the mind of many a young player to all the possibilities that this game could offer. I think why LittleBigPlanet is such a beloved game for many is that this is probably one of their first experiences being able to make their own worlds in a game. I remember how cool it was that I could pop on over to the level creator and I was just able to mess around with pre-made tools in this sort of self-made universe I'd make for myself. Spawning materials, gluing together objects, placing stickers everywhere. A chaotic mess of game assets thrown together. But in my young inspired mind, this was a masterpiece. The actual end results of my masterwork? Well...
What's up, YouTube? Today we're gonna be playing Bomb Survival Epic Impossible. It was one of my first levels, so please like and share. Here we go.
I think what made LittleBigPlanet so special was that it was so much more than just the creative sandbox it presented. LittleBigPlanet also had a fantastic story mode, a sprawling series of levels that had you exploring the world, each sending you to a different country, with fun characters and a progressing plot that led up to the final boss. The story mode introduced a smart way to get new players to understand how the game worked, with materials and prizes to collect to put in their own creations to incentivize completing it. Finally, and most importantly, it showcased the potential user-created levels could achieve in the level editor, inspiring players after finishing each level with what they could build next. Every world in LittleBigPlanet story mode was accompanied by its own music that perfectly fit its theme. I genuinely think the music is one of the best parts of LittleBigPlanet. Each track is a unique piece of music that fits well with the whimsy and overall feel of the game. Some of the tracks from LittleBigPlanet have stuck with me even today and fill me with such a strong sense of nostalgia. The game, honestly, has an amazing score. If you have the time, look up the tracks online and give them a listen. The sound design in LittleBigPlanet is also quite a highlight, be it picking up bubbles, getting a prize bubble, grabbing soft material. It's another example of something that LittleBigPlanet excels at, and it adds to the overall experience of the game. Now, after all the discussion, is the story of LittleBigPlanet good? Kinda? It's a very simple plot that sort of plays the part the best it can. It very much jumps from one world to the next in a sort of semi-cohesive way, until eventually you reach the final boss, the Collector. And like that, the story's over. The message it tries to tell is very basic. Sharing is good, and caring for others is also good. The end. The main importance of the story is to showcase what the game's creative tools can accomplish, and in that regard, I think it totally excels. The difficulty in the game is also decently challenging to boot. It doesn't pull its punches in any way, which is interesting for a children's platforming game for sure. As a kid, I definitely remember being totally intimidated how complex everything was in story mode, painstakingly thinking how long it would take to make a level of similar quality, and how inexperienced I was with the game's tools. Despite how daunting making a level feels in LittleBigPlanet, I think the game still exceeded in inspiring my young mind and making me want to trudge on and learn how to make a level, contributing something of my own to the ever-expanding community at the time. Let's talk about the best part of LittleBigPlanet, the community levels. The The community levels were Little Big Planet's best-selling feature, and it's the main reason its series of games are so beloved to me and many others. It was a well-designed system that let you explore the world of user-created levels, literally. Each level a labor of love published by a fellow player, putting themselves out there for other fellow players to review, trying to beat the developers at their own game and create something memorable. A really nice thing the developers would do for the community too was if there was a level that was popular enough and well-liked by the developers, they would put them under their own unique prestige tab called Team Picks. Levels that earned Team Picked would receive their own beautiful pink ribbon around the level, a sort of badge of honor showcasing the dev team's appreciation and love for a certain level. I think Team Picked definitely encouraged veteran level designers in Little Big Planet to keep working on the next best thing, and I think it also encouraged younger creators to also strive to make something special that would earn them the same title. Fun fact about Little Big Planet is that there is a costume called the Rare Prize Crown, which is one of the rarest and most sought-after costumes in Little Big Planet. The only way to obtain this costume was to either win a contest hosted by a fan site or to do something that caught Media Molecule's eye, another really cool piece of Little Big Planet history. I remember when I uploaded my first level to Little Big Planet 1, I was like 7 or 8 at the time, and I uploaded a level called Doggy Planet. It was the name of my favorite dog plushie at the time, and I remember my mother writing a nice message in the level description for me. The level was totally like an 8-year-old fever dream of just a ton of game assets thrown together into something that you could consider semi-cohesive. But I was genuinely proud of it. In my mind, it was one of the greatest levels I had ever made. I remember being really nervous when I uploaded it. After about 8 days, which I had regularly checked every day, I remember checking in on it and noticing for the first time I had received a couple of reviews. I think the level got like 3.5 stars tops, but I remember the top comment being some random person giving me a 5 out of 5 and saying, "This is an amazing level, dude, you should be proud." After reading that heartfelt message some random guy gave me, and probably out of charity, I felt so excited. Moments like that for any kid of any age are special. That's why I think games like Little Big Planet are so important. Now, I'm sure you all want to know, did I ever receive a team pick for my hard work on the level? No. I just don't think they had the time to appreciate my artistic talent, honestly. It's a shame, really. It was probably the greatest level in that entire game. Unfortunately, I don't think I have that level anymore, or a copy of Little Big Planet. And with the Little Big Planet 1 server sadly being shut down, I'm pretty sure that level is basically just lost media, along with a ton of actually amazing community levels that came out with that game. But if anybody remembers that level at all, shout out for being real. Now with that out the way, let's talk about the future of Little Big Planet and the games that followed. Media Molecule had released lots of DLC for Little Big Planet, many of them adding new costumes, materials, and stickers. And for a few major ones, entirely new gameplay mechanics for the game. But with the PS3's limitations on file size, Media Molecule decided it would make sense to make an entirely new game. Take the best ideas from the current DLC and add entirely new mechanics, releasing it all in one big package. Then, on January 19th, 2011, Little Big Planet 2 was released, and it changed everything. Little Big Planet 2 was advertised as instead of a platformer game, it would be a platform for games. And oh boy, did they deliver. We got new tools, new materials, a cohesive story mode with whole new worlds to explore. We got fully voice-acted characters with unique and memorable designs, and probably two of the best tools in Little Big Planet that changed everything: the Sackbot and the Controlinator. These new tools not only allowed players to create characters, but also fully controllable and rigged devices. With the new mechanics added in Little Big Planet 2, the community changed forever. Instead of only creative platformer levels, we were able to make levels of any type we wanted, as well as fully fledged voice-acted mini-movies within the game. And with that, The golden age of community levels in Little Big Planet was born. Little Big Planet 2 is what most people claim is the best game out of the three, and I think for the most part, they're totally correct. It's just that Little Big Planet 2 added so much, and the DLC that came out for it added tons of mechanics on top of it. It's not hard to see why people said that this was the best Little Big Planet game. It truly had it all at the time. Me, my siblings, my cousins, my friends, we all played Little Big Planet 2 together for hours. There was just so many fun levels with interesting things to do that it kept us entertained for years. It's the reason why I love games like Little Big Planet so much. After Little Big Planet 2, the series also had a couple of spin-off games that added more to the Little Big Planet content bubble. However, this isn't fully a retrospective, so I'm not going to cover them. Although they are all very interesting pieces of PlayStation history, and I recommend you play them again if you still own the physical copies. And with that, the hype continued for Little Big Planet 2 and all of its spin-offs for 3 years, where we had some of the best content in games in Little Big Planet history, and then, in 2014, it arrived. Little Big Planet 3 released in 2014, this time under a new studio named Sumo Digital. What the game added was an incredible 12 layers instead of the classic 3. New creative tools and gadgets, the ability to make your own gadgets and how they function, and 3 new interesting characters with their own mechanics, and a ton of DLC that added a lot more. It was a huge improvement over the past 2 games, and in many players' opinions, Little Big Planet's creation engine at its best, adding tons of depth to how players could create and design their levels. Despite all that, it's probably the most contentious game in the series for a multitude of reasons, and it all started on launch day. Release day hits, and in classic Bethesda fashion, the game is bugged and it's almost unplayable. Little Big Planet 3's launch was rough, and it divided the fanbase. Many couldn't stand the issues the game had, and it definitely hurt the player base. Even as a kid, I thought the game was worse than the other 2. Not because of its levels or the gameplay, although I did prefer Little Big Planet 2's levels at the time. It was entirely on the bugs and the internet issues that just ruined the overall gameplay experience. However, Little Big Planet 3 in its final state is a solid game worth playing with super fun DLC and overall gameplay features that made its story mode and community levels absolutely fantastic. If I had to say each game's best feature, I would say Little Big Planet 1 had the best soundtrack, Little Big Planet 2 had the best community levels, and Little Big Planet 3 had the best story mode levels and creation engine. In general, it's honestly a blessing that we received as much as we did with all of these games. They were pioneers for the future of user-generated content that I feel inspired many people to enjoy and appreciate the time, work, and effort that goes into these types of games. I will always be thankful to the memories and experiences that Little Big Planet has given me throughout the years. The hours of joy playing and making levels in all of its games. It's just truly disheartening and eye-opening to how much time has gone by when you realize that slowly but surely each and every game I've mentioned before has had their servers shut down for good. Even this year, Sony announced that they'd be permanently removing Little Big Planet 3 from the PlayStation 4 on October 31st. With Sony pulling the plug and shutting down the servers for good, it's just sad to see close to 16 years of user content gone, almost completely wiped off the face of the earth. If only there was a private server that hosted Little Big Planet levels, or even a game that continued the spirit of Little Big Planet. Oh wait. Despite Little Big Planet's legacy servers no longer existing, there are some incredible communities that have come together and created programs that allow you to continue playing Little Big Planet online using their private servers. LBP Union and Infinite are 2 Little Big Planet communities that allow you to patch your game files to access their private servers via emulator or via console, the latter being a little bit trickier. Of course, they have setup tutorials on their website and YouTube if you're curious to try it out. It's nice to see that these communities are continuing to be creative and make their own levels, as well as port over old levels from the golden days of LittleBigPlanet, which is super cool to see and a huge nostalgia blast. I can't recommend enough for you to go over and try out these servers and make your own content on them if you're at all interested in playing LittleBigPlanet again. But if you want to try something completely different, then I highly recommend Media Molecule's newest release, Dreams. Dreams was released on February 14th, 2020, and it is what I consider the evolution of the original LittleBigPlanet concept. The tools they've added in Dreams is an amazing expansion on the original LittleBigPlanet ideas and offer a much more vast system to create something truly exceptional. It truly is the new Wild West of Media Molecule's games, and the potential of what it can accomplish is impressive. Although, Dreams has stopped receiving developer support back in September of 2023, but there are still games being made in the system, and if you have the game or consider getting it, I totally recommend giving it another try and seeing what it has to offer. I honestly think that Dreams truly is a love letter to its predecessors that came before it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you for sitting through this video, and if you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. And I've got more videos on the way, so stay tuned. To close this video off, if you have any passion for game design, or you want to have some creative outlet, go out there and get creating. There are multiple avenues for you to explore, be it coding in Scratch, Unity or Unreal Engine, Dreams, or even LittleBigPlanet. The ideas don't have to be deep or even extremely complex. Just get to work and make something cool. I promise you it will be worth it. While the medium that it was made on might not last forever, it's the satisfaction you get for finishing it and the memories made by those who experience it that are worth it, just for that alone. With that, I'd like to wish LittleBigPlanet a happy 16th anniversary. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm PunchSoft, and I'll see you next time.